And welcome to the back to back episode on a gamer's guide to productivity. Today, we're having a very special young guest who literally shows us that age is not a barrier to success. Travis Smith is a 16-year-old entrepreneur from Chicago who founded his city's leading esports team at the age of 14. With an impressive track record of podcast appearances and public speaking, he is literally a rising individual in the gaming and business world. So, we're about to dive into his journey, the challenges of building an esports organization, literally what it takes to strive in a competitive gaming industry. And he's still not even 18 yet. So, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in and give a warm welcome to the show to Travis. So, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. This means a lot.
And for somebody that's so young, you started even younger. What gave you the inspiration to start an esports team at such a young age?
So I like telling this story because it's pretty funny. So growing up, I was young child. Here in Chicago, I played the game a lot. I played Fortnite. So
All right,
I don't know if you kept up with like the Fortnite scene, maybe in like
a little
2018.
bit.
Yeah, FaZe Clan. I wanted to join FaZe Clan, XD Clan. I wanted to join all those things, but I was never good enough. So, I always just wanted to kind of stay in the esports scene, whether it be competitive or esports team. And I kind
hmm
of tried a few esports teams before the one that I have right now. Currently, it didn't work out the best, but we kept moving, and I found it take back control. It's pretty going pretty good for the last 2 years. So yeah, that's the story.
And how did you even get the concept or the idea of this current organization? And what was your first step into making it a reality?
So my kind of just start was, you know, first of all, kind of looking at other big organizations, XSET, FaZe Clan, 100 Thieves, stuff like that. Kind of just applying a few things in a cheaper way because I didn't have that much money starting out.
Right.
So that was kind of just my gist of just taking something that you saw and just kind of making it your own to kind of be different. My first step that I took was I attended sorry, an event here in Chicago called Waymakers, and I met
Okay.
my current business partner Ryan Johnson. Um, and he kind of just helped me. He was my first sponsor, honestly, and he
Wow.
started me off with my company, and then from there, I met him in October, and then from there, I started my company in December, and then that was just the first steps. Just kind of getting the name down, the meaning behind it. I didn't have a business plan until a few months later, but everything else was pretty much set when I first started.
And how hard is it juggling the business aspect, but then also the gaming aspect? Because you want to be good at the gaming, so that way you're competitive, but you also want to be good at the business aspect, so you don't, go bankrupt and lose the funding.
Yeah. So it's just kind of more on like how well are you at understanding a lot of things. The esports scene is very, very complicated. And it's just getting more complicated by the day just because of how many new teams there is like daily. So my kind of thing is just I've been in the gaming scene for a long time now, in my terms, as a young as a younger person.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just kind of make sure to like stay up to date with a lot of things going on. Just recently, this weekend, I played in a Fortnite tournament at the United Center. Won
Mm.
like $250. Just something that I wanted
Sheesh.
to do on the side. So I kind of like to, even though I'm running my company, I'm having people play under me. I like to still kind of play myself. Just make sure I understand what I'm looking for, what I'm trying to do.
Well, that's actually pretty impressive that you're able to efficiently manage your time like that and be able to go out and step outside of the ownership role. What would you say is some challenges that you face when building out your team and choosing who you're willing to put underneath the brand?
The main challenge is just making sure, like, first of all, you have the money to recruit them. You have the trust to recruit them because a lot of people can, just backstab you, unfortunately, in the scene.
Right.
Um, and then when you're looking at those people, just make sure you're doing a good background check. Um, that's kind of what I do as well in the team. You know, I have a staff team of about 6 people right now, and
Wow.
everybody that we have recruited, we go through their posts from years ago just to make sure they haven't said anything crazy. We've had a few instances where something has been said and we had to handle that, but that's a few things that I kind of struggle with just because that's a lot of stress. Even with
Yeah.
finding out somebody said something and firing them, that's a big role in just firing somebody or just finding out they did something. So I feel like the two big things when running a company, other than funding, obviously, is
Mhm. Well, that's actually pretty impressive that you're able to make those tough decisions because even as an adult, some individuals may not have that kind of courage to want to let go somebody, especially if they're emotionally attached to them. It might not feel like the right thing to do and they might be feeling conflicted. So how would you say that you're able to separate that emotional and keep it strictly business?
Just kind of remembering where I came from. Like I came in here to do the best that I could.
Mm,
Obviously, for some smaller situations, I'll have a little more care and just a little more grace. But just for big situations, like just detaching myself because I came here to, go to the top, and I'm not trying to stop that anyway. I'm not trying to have that risk of somebody else trying to stop that. So yeah, it's just kind of understanding what I'm trying to do. At the end of the day, it's a business. It's my business, so I have to kind of make those big steps and play those big roles.
how would you say that coming from Chicago has influenced your journey as an entrepreneur as well as an esports enthusiast?
Um, so growing up, honestly, I didn't really see too many esports opportunities in Chicago. Obviously that I'm more than seeing now. I've seen more, and
Hmm.
I've had a few sponsors reach out, stuff like that. Shout out to I Play Games, sorry. And Yeah, I feel like growing up in Chicago, it wasn't a lot of gaming scenes. It's a lot of all you hear about Chicago is just violence. You don't really hear about esports. You don't hear about anything really good coming out of Chicago. So I feel like just kind of understanding, I came from Chicago. I'm proud to be from Chicago. I love the city, but just knowing that I came here to, boost Chicago's esports kind of name. And yeah, so it's kind of just a more like a mission, a journey. Say that keeps me motivated.
That's actually a pretty interesting purpose that you've instilled in yourself, and I definitely want to know what would you say now that you're thinking is setting your esports team apart, or you want your esports team to be set apart from others in Chicago and eventually in the industry as a whole?
Can you kind of go in more into depth on that?
Yes. So you currently have this team that you're building, and are you doing challenges, tournaments, or focusing on streaming? Like, what is the team that you're building? What are you trying to accomplish with them?
Yeah, so at the moment we have a 30-player roster, a Valorant roster, Fortnite roster, and a big content creation team. We also have we're working on a Apex roster. We used to have about 60 members that played usually all of them played in tournaments. So we're kind of if you could say like a multi kind of media gaming team.
Yeah.
We play in tournaments. We go to lands. We host lands. I'm actually hosting a land event in Chicago in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so it's pretty big. Just understanding that I have a lot to take on, but I wouldn't say we mainly stick to one thing because my goal is to kind of make sure we do multiple things. Kind of get that name out there and just make sure we're providing more opportunities for everybody.
Wow, that's actually pretty interesting that you have a deep roster and multiple teams. How would you say that communication is important with having so many people that are literally flying your flag, so to speak?
Yeah. Me personally, I feel like communication is the main thing to keep teams going, and that might not even be only in the esports team. That's like with anybody. I
Hmm.
feel like just keeping that strong thing. Like even with me, I contact members in my team like weekly, just saying, or not even weekly, like almost every day, just saying, "Hey, how's it going? How are you doing?" anything I can help you with, stuff like that, just to kind of make sure they're doing good because I know even me, like I go through a lot of stress and I'm not only one person, so I kind of have to take on that other big lead and just ask, people in my team, how are you doing, man? Like esports can be a lot, like content creation can be a lot, just everything. So, I kind of just have to, I was once again take on that role and contact them.
That's actually pretty impressive that you're doing this at such a young age. And I definitely got to know, how do you stay motivated and disciplined and focused when you're having such a high pressure and high stressful job?
Um, Honestly, like I said earlier, just kind of understanding what I came here to do, what I'm trying to do.
Mm,
Um, I'm still struggling personally, like with balancing everything. I have a lot going on. I had play practice today till 8 p.m. I'm in a choir. I'm in so many things outside of just
wow.
my business. So it's kind of, just like I said earlier, just kind of understanding what I'm trying to do. Is my motivation, just kind of understand where I came from. Like a lot of people message me, they're like, bro, you came a long way. Like in 2 years, you're going crazy. So like, just kind of like, making people proud. And like even my parents, like my family, just making them proud and that kind of keeps me motivated.
Damn, that's actually pretty intriguing. Like you're able to juggle multiple things at once. What would you say is the key for your effective time management? Because you mentioned so many things that you do, and you're still having a very good focus on what you're going to accomplish. So, how do you manage the things that you like to do?
So like I felt times where I personally been burnt out. I feel like everybody has. So a lot of things that help me, first of all, is just a break. I've gave myself multiple breaks where I just need a week, 2 weeks. Like even though I know like stuff is going in the team, like, I give somebody else that role because I know they're probably free those next 2 weeks. I let them run it. I'm done. No texting, no nothing. And just kind of take that week, those 2 weeks to myself. Um and just relax. Like, go play basketball, play some Fortnite, like just kind of relax. I kind of try not to keep as much on my mind just because, I am a teenager, so stress is not a good thing. Um, Even for any age, but I feel like with teenagers, especially with high school and everything, it's just a lot. So I kind of just make sure, like, the first thing is just give myself a break, find something I like to do, sing, um, just a simple walk around the park when I need it. Just kind of keeps me from feeling burnt out and just wanting to quit.
Are there certain lessons that you've applied from gaming over to the business side that almost feels like a cheat code? Like because of you playing this game, like you can apply this to business and it makes it much easier to learn?
Yeah, I feel like my biggest lesson from going from gaming to the professional esports business is just competitive, like understanding the competitive scene, understanding how hard you have to work to get to where you want to be, just understanding, even though you take those breaks, you got to make sure once you come back, you're working hard, you're doing what you need to do, make sure you keep everything intact because even when, I wanted to become a professional Fortnite player, um, I wanted to make sure I'm on top of everything, I'm still watching tutorials on how to get better. Even now, like as a business standpoint, I'm watching videos, what's going on with the esports scene, stuff like that. So my biggest kind of takeaway from moving to one scene to another is just understanding the competitive and how you can like push yourself ahead, just kind of make yourself different.
What would you say so far in your journey is the most rewarding moment that you've had?
So maybe like a broader sense, like we played this tournament last year. It was our first ever Fortnite tournament, not even second, and we won. And I'm like, yo, we're about to go crazy. It's that, it's we're about to go win all these other tournaments. We didn't win the next one, but we won that one. That's what,
Right.
just understanding that first thing is like, hey, I like I actually built the roster. We won. I'm the one over the team and a lot of other teams can't say that they won the same tournament. So it
Hmm.
just kind of that first tournament win, and it wasn't even for like I think it was like $300. Just understanding like I'm doing something that a lot of other people couldn't, and kind of from there. I kind of push myself to, recruit higher tier rosters, win more things. Not saying we're the, we're higher than a bunch of other organizations, exit and stuff like them, but we're definitely moving up the ranks and, finding our little motion in the ocean somewhere.
Now, are there any upcoming projects or partnerships or sponsorships that you're excited about that maybe you can provide some insight in?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, my first thing is for people watching, if you are in Chicago, we're hosting a LAN event at Gamified Gaming Lounge the 14th and the 15th, a 2-day event, $1,000 prize pool. So that's one thing. And just I'm excited for the new year. I can't say too much, but if you guys keep up with me from now, you will be surprised. There's a lot going on. Maybe even doing an out of state land event. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it's a lot going on. But my main thing coming up right now, I'm trying to focus on is just that land event that I'm trying to do 2 weeks. It's gonna be awesome having the energy there. Um, I did a recent one during the summer with the Chicago Sky. I play games. It's pretty fun. So, just running it back, just, having the energy there.
What would you say is your typical day in terms of being a leader of a esports organization?
Typical day is first of all, waking up every morning, no matter what, I make sure I say good morning to everybody. Not all of them do respond half the time, but because I know a lot of people are just waking up, kind of get to work. But I make sure I do that. Going from there, let's say on the weekend, I go through a few analytics to kind of see what we should post. Kind of get that to our content manager. From there, we just what is the typical day? I'm trying to think about it. um, you know, I usually you go through the analytics, send it to my content manager for the team. We kind of figure out what to do next. I try to keep it pretty chill, honestly, to where everybody's not as stressed as they could be from other organizations. Um, so just sending those good nights, good morning, getting those analytics done. I usually message people, depending on the day, just kind of figuring out do they need anything from the team, or how can we help them, or if I need something from them, let's say like a new video out soon or anything like that, I'll contact them for that. And it's just more so like typical day is pretty chill, honestly, but it's still a lot that goes into play, just kind of understanding my role. Because on those days, even though a lot of people in the team aren't doing as much, I still have to do a lot in terms of, just a few business things.
Where do you have this hunger to succeed? Where does that come from?
Honestly, it's gonna sound like a little deep, but like just coming from a nobody to a somebody.
Hmm.
Like I was kind of overlooked as a child, a younger child at least. I was in the choir, I was no, I was I'm not saying like I wasn't like nobody, but I think you kind of take into terms on like how you can make it sound. Just kind of understanding like I'm not doing this for no reason. Like I wanted to do this. If God sends me another way, then that shall be. But for now, it looks like this is the right track for me personally.
Right.
I'm enjoying it. Um, and just like I said, just coming from a nobody to a somebody and understanding what I'm trying to succeed at the end of the day. I realize a lot of people are inspired by me, and as a 16-year-old, that's a big thing to take on. Like understanding, like I'm inspiring somebody to do the same thing. What? So yeah, it's just like it's a big thing to me. Just like kind of understand, like wow, like you're really doing this, Travis, and you know, don't want to give up now.
Mm. No, that is actually kind of deep. And what advice would you say to those other young entrepreneurs across the nation, maybe even globally? Because there are some listeners that actually aren't in America. We got listeners up in India, Dominican Republic, and a lot of other places. Guys, I apologize if I didn't mention your country. but I'm just giving our guest here, Travis, an example. So, what would advice would you give to some of these young entrepreneurs who they want to break into gaming or they want to break into esports, and they may feel like a nobody, and they may feel like I want to be a somebody? What kind of advice would you give to them?
My advice would just be it's a favorite quote. It's my favorite quote. Just do it. I was so scared to just do it, literally. And once I did, I made sure to just take those steps. Like for everybody listening, I was pretty socially anxious growing up. I didn't talk as much as I could, but growing into entrepreneurship and just understanding, even if you don't want to be in esports, just do it. Like it's life. If you get rejected by somebody, just keep going. If you get told no, just keep going. It's like it's life, man. Like just do it. Go out there, get your name out there, meet people, because connections are gonna save your life. I'm telling you.
Mm.
But yeah, like yeah, just do it. It's life. If something goes bad, it goes bad. But at the end of the day, you still keep pushing. You still keep waking up. Thank God every day. So yeah, that's my advice.
That's actually a very intriguing, and that definitely makes me think about. You mentioned earlier that you run background checks on individuals. How do you even get to scouting and recruiting people to want to put them on your team for business or your team for an esports roster? Like, how does that scouting and recruitment process look like?
Yeah. So we used to use TikTok.
Okay.
That was pretty. We kind of switched off of that, but a lot of times we actually get reached out to by the
Oh,
players that want to join. And I know it's pretty crazy. It didn't happen till like a while ago till people started realizing the name of TBC. We use LinkedIn sometimes and we do recruitment tweets on Twitter. Those are pretty big. They work pretty easily, have people reach out. But other than that, that's kind of the main ways. It's pretty easy to just kind of find somebody that rocks with you. You kind of see how somebody wants to be in the esports scene just by how that takes you. Like if somebody texts me, like for example, I had somebody text me last week, "Yo, what
hmm.
up? Let me in the team." Like, come on, you gotta give me something better than that. But like for somebody else, like, hey, here's my analytics, here's my stats from last year. I like to join TBC. Here's why. Just stuff like that. I'm not saying give a whole paragraph an essay because I wouldn't do that, but
Right.
just kind of put some effort into it, just to kind of make sure that you're wanting to do this because I don't want to waste your time. I don't want you to waste mine. Let's kind of collaborate on that. And just make sure we both are looking for the same thing.
How do you persevere when you're either on a losing streak or you get told no by multiple projects or your team is like in a slump? Like, how do you persevere? How do you stay with that fire burning? I know you're fixated so much on that goal, but how do you still persevere throughout that negative slump?
Yeah, I wouldn't say like I'm just not affected by the emotions of losing, of getting rejected by sponsors or anything like that because it definitely that takes a toll on that can take a toll on anybody, but it takes a toll on me definitely. I say my only thing is just not even just saying like the motivational part, like just like I said, it's life. Like even when my players like we've lost a few tournaments in a row, and I'm like, hey, like, are we still playing? Isn't that a blessing to just keep playing? Like, doesn't matter if we lose those few times. Doesn't matter if I got rejected for a sponsor one time. It's just we just got to keep going. At the end of the day, things will fall into place. Um, Even when I got rejected, I ended up pulling another one. I play games right here. So at the end of the day,
Hey.
it's just gonna keep going. Like no matter what, you just got to keep trying because at the end of the day, the more you try, the more you kind of have that eye of success, the more you get your name out there, just a better, a better chance. Better chance.
All right, so I have some interesting questions for those on the more financially wealthy side that may be listening, and they're hearing you say that some sponsors reject you and stuff like that. Like, what would be the perks of potentially sponsoring you or any of your esports teams?
Yeah, so we first of all, sponsor logos go on the jersey. We have two right here. Go anywhere else. If you want it to be like right here, it can go right here. You also go on a website. You're putting our intro for all videos. You get your at in our all of our bios on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and TikTok. You also just get that promotion. We do monthly promotion posts for our sponsors. We're like, hey, we appreciate you. I play games into esports. Um, thank you for sponsoring us. If you guys would like to do this, blah, 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 and blah. We give information on companies. Just more of a solo promotion thing. Like as we're growing, we're understanding, we have a big kind of not necessarily big, but a big toll on how people can view different companies. So we could definitely, boost your company social status, at least in the esports scene. I don't know if you're looking to promote to gamers, anything like that. But yeah, I definitely say if you are listening, anybody, just reach out to me. I have a few perks that I didn't say necessarily on here, just small business things, but the main ones are what I just mentioned. And yeah, I would like to talk to a lot of people.
Oh no, certainly, because there's some business owners now listening at your communication skills, your drive, your grit, your determination, your perseverance, and they might be willing to do so. And you don't have to give estimates, but what ballpark figure, like the differences between like having a logo on the side versus like the logo straight up on the main front of the jersey, like what ballpark figures, if you're able to give an estimate, would they be looking at for either like a one time or like on a monthly recurring basis? Would they be looking at?
Well, for like something like crazy, like right on the front, I'd be looking at maybe four figures. Nothing crazy because I know we're not
Okay.
the biggest that we can be right now. We're something smaller, nothing more than three figures. Nothing crazy. I understand at the end of the day, like you guys have to get something sponsors. Obviously, we have to get something. So, I'm not trying to make it hard, not trying to make it difficult. Just kind of come to terms, and it's also negotiable, for certain
Right.
things. So yeah, yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of estimates.
And then for them, the best way to get in contact, would it be going through the website, going through Twitter, emailing? How would they get in contact?
If you could, I mean, the best way would be through Twitter or LinkedIn. My name is Travis Smith on LinkedIn. You can contact me through there, and my name is also Travis Smith on Instagram and Twitter. I answer through all things, so if that was something that interests you, sponsoring the leading esports teams of Chicago, just reach out to me. We can talk and kind of get some business done.
Oh man, I gotta know, how did you get so good at communication? Like you're so very well versed and you're confident. Like you are a great public speaker. Like how did you get so good and competent?
I have no clue. No, I'm joking. um, like the last 2 years, I've gotten out my comfort zone. Like last summer, I met Xset CEO, and I was able to intern there. Like just a
Wow.
few months later, I contacted him. I'm like, hey, can I intern here? I had a conversation with him, Adrian Cobra, NFL player. Like I've had conversations, just kind of
Woo!
last 2 years, I've gotten out of my comfort zone a lot because before now, if we would have talked, I would have been very quiet. I wouldn't have had much to say. But I feel like the last years have definitely grown me as a person, and just that's for like life. Like I'm kind of set in terms of like talking because when you're growing up, not a lot of people don't want to be like just in their own box. Like I feel like when you're growing out, like when you're growing up, just talking. Yeah. So I think it's kind of set me up.
Yeah, that's a skill set that literally puts food, on the table. It puts money in your pocket. I think there's a saying goes that closed mouths don't get fed. So you have to talk. You have to get out of your comfort zone, and that's actually so intriguing that you're able to recognize that and open up and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Can you help me make this a reality? And by you literally stepping out of your comfort zone, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, you've opened doors that could open even more doors, because I'm sure that there are a lot of individuals listening to you, getting inspired by you, and potentially looking at, like, yeah, I would love to do business with this gentleman. He knows exactly what he wants. He knows the negotiating aspect of business. Like, it's a two-way street. Both entities have to have something of value that is being exchanged for there to be an amazing business opportunity. So yeah, I applaud you for
Yeah,
getting
thank
out
you.
of
That
your
means a lot.
Cause like I know when I was your age, I was not doing any of this. So the fact that you're doing this and you're confident, you can speak well, and you're very focused, you got these goals is amazing. And I definitely want to know, before I start to wrap up, I definitely want to know, what would you say are your five favorite video games of all time?
Okay, of all time,
All time.
I'm sorry for everybody listening. Fortnite has to come five. It's just been here for so long. It's been relevant. That has to come five. My
Okay.
fourth one, I would have to say COD. Any other Infinite Warfares, they can come number four. Honestly, for me. Um, Number three, Warframe. That's a big one. Um, Number two, I'd have to say, this is crazy, guys, but 2K20. 2K20 was very good for
Ooh.
me.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And number one, I had to go with a classic, Halo. And with honorable
Ooh.
mentions, I had to go, Roblox,
Okay.
Roblox, and like a few other like smaller games, like Creative Destruction and stuff like that. Yeah,
Well, that's actually a pretty solid list. That's really good.
yeah.
That's really good. How did you even know? Like, some of those games are beyond your age. How did you even know about them?
I like the classics. I like the classics, not like the classic, but the classics.
Okay, okay. And then, what would you say? This is another tough list. Your top five favorite gamers slash gaming organizations.
Ooh, that's a good one. Um, okay, I'm gonna start from first. So I'm gonna do like two for each.
Okay, okay,
So my number one um gaming organization at the moment, I would have to say Exet. Um and in terms of a player, I would have to go with Clicks just because of, how big he's making it right now, honestly.
okay,
Second, I have to go with Dignitas and say Buga, who won World Cup a few years ago.
okay,
Third, um, shoot, I have to go with Elite Esports. With the
okay.
third one probably being like, I don't know if people are gonna know who this is, but Ninja, he's pretty old. Um, I still
Yeah.
enjoy his content. Yeah, yeah. Number four, I have to give a shout out to another esports team here, Team Summit. I like what they're doing.
Hmm.
And in terms of that, I say, ooh, Courage JD. And number
Okay.
five, I can't do a team for that one. I don't know if this counts, but number five, I think I'm gonna have to say Kaisernet. I don't know. I think that
Okay.
counts. I think that
That counts.
counts.
He started
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
gamer. Yeah. Any honorable mentions?
Honorable mention. Um, what's his name? What's his name? I'm gonna have to say honorable mentions. FaZe Rug. Uh, uh, oh, it's a few other people. Flight reacts, and ISO speed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the honorable mentions.
Okay, okay, that's actually pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool that you have a solid list, a solid roster of gaming
Yeah.
organizations and gamers. And RJ Alexander Harris let us know that that's our boy.
What's up,
That's
RJ?
actually pretty cool. And final question I have for you: if you could go back in time 2 years and give your 14-year-old self advice when you just had this idea that just wouldn't let you go, and you're like, I gotta start, knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourself?
Um, Honestly, another deep point. Just I know times are gonna get rough. Like speaking into myself right now, no times gonna get rough. But no matter what, you just have to keep going, and you know, make sure you have that business plan because I didn't have a business plan at first. And for anybody listening, don't take my advice for that. Like, actually get a business plan when you
Hmm.
start off, and just I would just be telling myself, make sure you got everything down. I went through a lot to start this team, and I went through a lot after I started the team, just kind of getting things together. So make sure you have everything put in place. Make sure you have the money to do it, because funding is going to be pretty hard as a teenager. Um, So yeah, that's probably what I would go tell myself. Just make sure you have everything down packed, make sure you have everything good, and you're ready to start, you know, because it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a journey, but you're gonna make it.
Man, that is amazing. And you're not even 18. Wow. Guys, if you've really valued anything at all whatsoever from this episode, make sure to drop something in the comment below. Let us know what you really felt impactful, because this wraps up another episode of A Gamer's Guide to Productivity. And I hear so much productivity from Travis. So a huge thank you, Travis, for coming
Thank
today,
you.
joining us, providing your insight, what led you to want to be a business entrepreneur, but also in the esports gaming atmosphere, providing your journey so far and the visions that you have as a young entrepreneur, an innovator from Chicago. If you've felt inspired, make sure to share this with somebody else. If you're a business individual, if you're an investor, you already heard, certain pricing, where to go to contact him. If you want to target young gamers, he literally has a business that is dedicated for your type of clients. So definitely reach out to him, support him and all of his endeavors. Don't forget to rate this episode, review, share it to somebody else, like, comment, and subscribe, because we're fellow gamers, we're aspiring entrepreneurs. Until next time, keep gaming, keep being